The Restrict Access feature in Content Settings allows you to specify the conditions under which learners will be able to access course sections or activities. You can add restrictions based on the following conditions. Allow or disallow access to learners who belong to a specific user segment. Require learners to complete specified course activities. Only allow access from or until a specified date and time. Require learners to achieve a specified grade. Allow or disallow access to learners who belong to a specific course group. Control access based on fields within learners' profiles. Only allow access from or until a date relative to a specific course event. Control access based on the level that learners have achieved with points gains. Or even add a set of nested restrictions. Once you've selected one of the available restriction types, you will be able to specify the conditions of the restriction. In this example, we will use the most common restriction type, restricting access based on activity completion. When setting up a restriction, you can define whether a learner must or must not meet the criteria in order to access the restricted content. The restriction types include dynamic drop-down lists that are updated as your course content and users get updated. These help you to easily create course-specific access criteria. For the activity completion restriction, you can make a selection from the list of activities that have been added to your course. You can then select which completion requirements learners must meet in relation to this activity. You can also add more than one restriction to course content. You may, for example, wish to require learners to complete 2 previous activities before being able to access a resource. In this case, you can add 2 different activity completion restrictions for the different activities. When adding multiple restrictions, it is important that you also define how these restrictions will operate in an either-or way that only requires learners to meet one of multiple criteria in order to access the resource, or in an all-or-nothing way that requires learners to meet all criteria. You can also choose whether or not to display restrictions to your learners. If you leave the eye icon next to a restriction open, learners will be able to see the course resource and which criteria they need to meet in order to access it. If, however, you click and close the eye icon, the course resource will be completely hidden from learners until they meet the criteria to access it. To learn more about the other restriction types, you can view the support document below.